Okay. Good evening, everyone, once again. Hope you're doing fine today. We'll get started. So, yesterday, we learned how to, we learned how to write functions, isn't it? Today, we will learn how to write our class and objects, okay? And this is how exactly we are supposed to write the program. So by end of tomorrow, when we end this session, okay, you should be able to write your program in a correct manner, in a correct way. Okay. So what is correct way? Correct way is using class and objects. Okay. You need to create class. What is class? Okay. Now, just to understand roughly what class is, okay, look at things around you. Okay, we talk about human being, we talk about cars, we talk about fruits, vegetables, right? You have different types of vegetables, you have different types of fruit. Okay, now to learn about them is one thing, and actually use them is another thing. To learn about say, fruit apple, you don't have to eat it, right? You can see a picture, okay, you can know, somebody can tell you what apple is, how it looks like, isn't it? Right? So there is someone, okay, who can explain us about apple, right? And then we know. So generally when we learn apple, A for apple, we are learning what is called as classes. Okay. And when you start using it, when you eat apple, that is when you are actually, okay, creating object of class apple, and then you're eating it. So to create a definition around it, to talk about it, to show what it is, we need to know class. Without having class, we can't create an object, isn't it? You can't eat apple without ever knowing what apple is, right? If you're eating an apple, that means definitely you know what apple is. That's why you're eating it. Okay, but vice versa is not true. Knowing apple doesn't mean that you might have eaten apple, right? It's possible that you know about it. We know about a lot of animals and birds, right, across the world, but doesn't mean that we have seen them, met them, isn't it? So class is definition, and when you are using it, we create object, we create instance of a class. We say that means we create a copy of a class. Okay, so if I tell you that I'm holding an apple, if I tell you I'm holding an apple, you're not going to ask me what shape it is, isn't it? Because shape of apple is common across the globe. You can ask me what type of the apple is, based on maybe Indian apple or Australian apple or Fiji apple or US apple, Washington apple, right? You can ask me what kind of apple it is, but you will not ask me the shape of apple, because shape of apple is defined for all the apple. So as I said, first thing, class is a definition. You define something, and at the same time, okay, there are few things which are common for all the objects, and there are something which are specific to object, unique about object. Okay, and there's something which is common for all the objects. So things which are common for all the objects, we call them as class members. Okay, so class members will be common for all the objects, and things which are unique to object are object level members, right? So when we talk about human being as a class, or let's say citizen of a city, citizen of, say, Mumbai, right? Now, there are few things which will be private to you, right? What you have inside your home TV set, music system, phone. These are all private to you. Okay. You will not probably even share with your brother or sister, right? But let's say you have a community swimming pool. Now, community swimming pool is common for everyone. So that is your class member, isn't it? Class member is common for everyone, and your phone, your name, your diary, okay, is specific to you. So we call it as object member, which differs. Okay, your name is your name, right? Nobody else can take your name. That is specific to you. That is very specific to you, right? Now, if I talk about population of city, okay, definitely that is common, okay, for every member. So those are common for all the members. Make sense? So with that knowledge, let's start. We'll see how to create a class in Python. And class and objects are foundation for object-oriented programming. Python supports object-oriented programming. Okay. So whatever we have seen so far is all about how to use each of the different pieces together. But now, okay, what we are going to see is actually how we write a program. Okay. So now from today onwards, now that you will know class and objects, maybe after tomorrow onwards, when you know what class and objects are, you should be using this format. Okay. So let's see a simple example. I'm going to call a class. Okay. And I'm saying class books. Okay. So how do you know it is a class? Because I have put keyword class before it. Okay. So I have used keyword class before it. You know that it is a class. And I'm defining a class. Okay. I'm not using it. Okay. I told you to use it. We have to create object and use it. We're defining class. Have you worked with class before? Yes, we have worked with class before. We have worked with strings. We have worked with tuples, dictionaries, right? Those are classes only, right? They have a predefined meaning. So when you call list.append, list.insert, okay, string.search, okay, string.find, string.replace, those are nothing but your members of the class string, members of class list. Okay, we didn't write code for that because somebody who has created the class list and string has done it for us. So same thing we are going to do now. Okay, we are going to create class, we are going to create functions. Okay, and whoever is going to use our object will use it as if it is pre-written. Make sense? So with that knowledge, let's see. So I'm going to create a class books, okay? And I'm not going to have any members to class books. So what I'll do to create something blank, you say pass. That means I've created a class book and it has no member, zero member. Can you create an object? Of course you can create an object. B1 or B, we'll say B1, okay, equal to books, bracket open and close. Okay, S books. Oops, not inside. Okay. So what I just did, I created an object B1. So B1 is an object of class books. How many members it has? It has 0 members. There is no member for the book. And it has created one object. If you want to print the type of object, okay, you can say here print type of B1. And when you run P5, says class main dot books. What is main? We did yesterday, guys. What is main? Did we do? Yes, we did, right? Main indicates that you are calling from current file itself, right? So books, class book is in current file, the file that you are running. So which file I'm running? I'm running P5, isn't it? Okay. So I'm running P5. So since I'm running P5, okay, it says that this is P5 dot. Okay, this is P5 dot. Okay, and so the books class is in your P5. And I also said that when you are using, try to use if name equal to main. So main program should be in if block, if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to main. That means if we are calling this file itself, this thing should be called. Okay, if we are calling this file P5 some other file as part of, let's say, module or package, then this content will not be called. Right? So that's why it says main. Main means the file that you are running. Okay, since I'm running this file, okay, so these things are getting executed. Now, if I import P5 to some other file and try to run it, then I won't be able to. Make sense? Okay. Everybody is very silent today. What happened? Please make some noise. Say something. Yes, no. Okay. Great, Asjit. Okay. Now let's build something inside this class. So I'm going to create a variable now. I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to say number of books. Number of the books equal to 0. Now you see I created num books equal to 0. Since I have created inside the class, it is member of class. And since I have not, okay, since I have not used anything else here, okay, so what it means is this has become your class level variable. This is your, because see, if it was an object level, I would have mentioned the object name, something like self. Generally, when you see self dot something, that means it's an object level variable. And when you don't see self dot, okay, instead of self dot, you might see nothing, or you might see CLS. Okay, now see why CLS, why self, you will see how to use it, but you can use any variable name. Okay, it need not be CLS or self, but majority of people, they use CLS and self. So we keep using it. Okay, we don't want to look different. Now something which everybody uses, okay, and you use same thing, people will not have any questions. They will not. Okay, but if you use something different, you know, somebody who's reading your thing for the first time, they might find it little odd, right? So that's why we use self or CLS, and I'll show you in some time, but you can use anything. So when you do not see anything, or you see class name dot books dot, num books, or you see CLS dot, that means those variables or even functions are your class level. That's why they don't belong to any specific object. We haven't created, we created B1, but there's no way we have linked num books to B1. Definitely num books is not a object level variable. That's a class level variable. So your functions will have class and, sorry, other way around. Your class will have functions and variables. Okay, your class will have functions and variables. So functions and variable at class, functions and variables at object. So okay, so you will have class and objects. Okay, and each class can have variables and functions. Objects can have variables and function. So you will have 4 types. Okay. Now you can have any number of variables, any number of functions. Okay. But what I'm saying is you will have function at class level, variables at class level, functions at object level, variables at object level. Okay. So the one that I've used here, okay, what I've used here, numbooks is a class level. Okay, great. So numbooks is your class level variable. Okay. Now let's say I want to create a function which will read books content. I want to create a function which will read books content, books title, author, price. Now tell me, the functions that I want to create here, which will read the objects, not objects, sorry, the book name title. Okay, should that be a class level function or an object level function? Think and tell me. I want to create a function that will read anybody wants to try? Will that be a class level function or an object level function? No? Nobody wants to answer? I have not seen any answer. Okay. Yeah, Hemant, you can type it in the chat. Okay. So see, your book title, okay, book title or author name is specific to the book. It is not common for all the class. Okay. So the details I'm talking about, are all object level. So, okay, so when I create a function to take title, author name, that will be an object level, because every book, every apple, okay, think of class or object. Initially think of it as an apple. So if you want to eat an apple, that is an object that you want to eat, right? If I create a title of a book, it is an object. Okay, so I'm going to say def exactly the way you define a function. Methods are also a function, right? I'm talking about function itself, but this function is inside the class. That's how it is different. It is inside the class, not independent functions. So you say def, okay, get details. Okay, so I'm going to say get details. Now you see, moment I say get details, self got added automatically. Why did self get added? Self got added because it's an object level. It will be different for different object, unique for unique object. Okay. Now in this case, it's a method, right? So how do I get the title name? So one option is inside this you say self dot title. Now why am I using self dot title again? Now I'm introducing variables. Now these variables are again object level variables, not class level. Class level I would have directly used, like numbooks, or I could have used CLS dot. Okay. So I'm going to say self dot title equal to input, enter the name of the book. Okay. And okay. You want to take the price, you can say self dot price equal to int of okay. Okay. Enter the price of the book. Okay. So these are three variables. Total how many variables we have in the books? Total how many variables we have in the books? Total we have 4 variables. 1 here and 3 here. These 3 are object specific, object level, and this is common for the entire books class. Okay. Now when I say book 1 dot book, book object is created. Now I can say here, sorry, why it's okay. Now I'll say here b1 dot get details. Now when I say book 1 dot get details, so I'm trying to call get details. Okay, this is object specific to b1 object, right? And get details is an object because you have added self there. So everything that you add self to will become, okay, object level. I told you, right? It need not be self. You can say ABC also. ABC, but then you have to put ABC everywhere. Okay, it becomes an object level. But since the standard practice is to use self, we will use self. Okay, using self is the standard practice. Okay, that's why we're going to use self itself. Okay, now when you run it, B1, see it is asking us to enter books. So I will say enter the name of the book, Python programming, author, Swapnil Saurabh, price 150. Okay, it has run 1 and object is created B1. You can create another object and to create B2 as well. So if I have to say B2, and this will make it as B3. Now when I run it, B1, B2, okay, B1, B1, B2, B2, right? And this is again going to be B2, or B3 rather. So B1, B2, B3, all 3 are going to call get details. Now we'll write another function, we'll say put details. And there we'll display all these values here. So I'm going to say, so I'm going to create second member of object, second function or method, which is part of the object. Okay, so def put details. So we created get details to read the numbers. And now we are saying put details because we want to, okay, to print the values. Okay, so I'm going to say here print if the book titled is, okay, the book title is authored by okay, price also, right? Sells at rupees 1. Here I'm going to say self dot title, right? And here I'm going to say self dot, and at the same time okay, so we have used all three variables, right? Okay, now after getting b1, b2, b3, okay, let me say I say b3 dot put details. So I'm going to get details from all the three books, all the three object. Okay, but putting details, displaying, I'm only calling b3. Let's see, or I will say b2 better. Okay, let me use b2 itself. Now let's run it. Name of the book, I say Python programming. Okay, author. Okay, price. Okay, second book title. Okay. Okay, so this is done. Price 500. Okay, name of the book. Perfect. Now you see, I added, okay, book 1 is Python programming, book 2 is machine learning, and book 3 data visualization. And I'm putting book 2 here, right? So it picked machine learning only, you see? You see? See, I'm not passing any values. I just said b1 dot get values and b2 dot put values. So when b1, b2 gets the values here, it is saved with b1. This is saved against b2 without our knowledge. This is saved against b3. Even though we have not done anything, we haven't told it specifically database to take it. What did it happen? How did it happen that, see, we gave b1, b2, b3. Now I'm calling b2, so it went and fetched exact b2. Even though we did not pass the variable, right? We did not do any connection, specific connection. So answer is you do not have to make any specific connection, because b2 is a different object, b3 is different object, b1 is different object. So what you do with b1 remains with b1, b2 and b3 will not get impacted. Similarly, when I gave values to b1, b2, b3, b1, b2, b3 got the values, okay, and they have specific values stored with them. Now, when I call b2, I will get the b2 details. When I call b3, I will get the b3 details. If I call b1, so that's how the details of each object is maintained uniquely. Even if you have 1,000 values, it can maintain 1,000 values, okay, 3,000 objects. Okay, and This is the beauty of class. We did not pass. Okay. Now, if you go to this function, this is not taking any arguments, but it has access to self.title, self.author, okay, because they are part of same classes. So those variables are accessible by all the members of the class. Remember that. You don't have to pass values to functions because all of them belong to same class. They have access to all the members. Okay, maybe tomorrow we'll talk about encapsulation, data encapsulation. There we'll talk about how to hide, how to make sure that values are not, accessible. But now by default, values are accessible by every member of your class. That's why we did not have to pass. We did not have to say that, oh, self.author is in get details, take it from there. No. Any member that you add, whether it is class level or object level, is made available to the entire members of the class. Is it clear, guys? Today it's very silent. I used to get some message, yes, sir, no, sir. Okay, yes, but today everybody is so silent. Okay, no worries. But I hope everybody is able to understand. I'm purposely going slow because I want all of you to understand this. Okay, you have to, because okay, class concept initially it is confusing, not difficult, it is confusing. Once you understand, right, then you can write many complex programs. Now, while actually working on project, okay, even talk about mini project, I'm not talking about big project. Even if you have to talk about very mini basic project, you need to work with multiple variables, values from multiple files. So you need to know which one you have created, which one others have created, what you have used. All those things you need to understand. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to talk about another member called as init member. Okay, init is a class level function which has predefined meaning. So again, those who have done programming in C, C++, Java, they would know the concept of constructors. Okay, so init is constructor. In constructor in Python, we call them as initialization. Initialization. Okay, and you can add multiple. So all the things that are supposed to be done automatically at the time of creation is done in init, because init function is called automatically. Now here, let's say I forget to call b2.get get details. Let's say somehow I forgot to call. So now when I say b2.put details, b2 does not have all those values, only b1 and b3 has it. B2 will not be able to display the title book. Yes, did you understand? Because I'm not calling b2.get details. If I don't call b2, b2 does not get associated with any value. And when it doesn't get any associated, if you have to call something which is okay, then which is not defined, you won't be able to get any member. Okay, or answer. So here when I run it, okay, let's say I put 1, 1, 1 and name of the book 2, 2, 2. Now you see, books object has no attribute title because we did not call get details. So Python says, okay, I know every program will have some kind of initialization to be done. Every program will have some kind of initialization to be done. So instead of okay, creating a method and hoping that user will call it, okay, one small mistake and the whole program goes wrong. So instead of leaving like that, we say, okay, why don't we put it under what is called as init __. So I told you, anything which is double underscore before and after, they have special meaning. right? So underscore underscore init underscore underscore has a special meaning. This does not need any invitation to connect. Yeah, Shankar, we'll send the notes. Okay, you'll have the notes. Okay. So when I say init here, init or initialization is a method that is automatically okay. Now here we do not have get details, right? Let me comment the get details. We do not have get details. Now when you run it, I'm not calling get details. I'm not calling init. Now you see it says enter the name of the book. It says enter the name of the book because we said init, and init is called automatically when object is created. Okay. So name of the book 111 222 333. See, book title is 2, authored by 2, sell size ₹2, because we gave all 2 to 2 in the second one. So this is how you do not have to write a function to provide a value to a I think it is very clear now. We have seen 3 types out of 4 types so far. Now see, this num book count should also be increased by 1. Number of books count should also be increased by 1. So I'm going to say number of books count here itself I'll say. Okay. Now since I'm using inside the function, I have to mention it whether it is a class name or object name. So I'll say class name books dot num books. Okay. So I'll say plus equal to 1. I'm increasing the count of the book. And I can even print it here. I can say print total number of books in the total number of books in the library is, you say okay. Books dot num books. Okay. So I'm increasing the count of num books automatically. Every time init is called num book, okay, or the object will be increased by 1. And now when I call it, it is comma here, right? It's now available. Okay, so we have num books. You have put details, okay, which is again object level. Okay, and this is how your karna ends. I mean, the usage of basic class ends. Okay. Now, anything else I wanted to? Okay. Yes, we have not shown you how we have not done the class level method so far, isn't it? We have not done class level method. Okay. So to perform class level method, there is slightly a different step. Slightly different step. In class level method, you have to specifically mention it's a class level. Only then Python will understand that, okay, it is a class level method. Okay, so we have to say @class method. We have to say @class method. Then only it becomes a class level method. Okay, so I'm going to say here @class method. So when you say class method, so class method, we use very rarely. I mean, I'm not saying that zero, but rarely we use, and even if you use, maybe you'll use only once. Otherwise, other functions are used multiple times. Okay, so class method, that's why class method is written little differently. Okay, but the concept all holds true. So I'm saying class method, @class method. That means the function, the method that I'm going to write exactly below this is going to be a class method. So I say def book count or something like that, total count. Now you see, it automatically added CLS here. Okay, to indicate it's a class level function or method. And here I'll say print I'm just thinking, what should I do? Okay, so okay, let's print this one. It's the total number of books. So instead of printing them here, I will take it here. Actually, this belongs to class method, not an object level. So somebody will get confused. Oh, why are you talking about object in the middle of a thing? So now when you say class, then the user will not have doubt. Okay, so it is always good to print. So now when I want the total count, I can simply say B3, or we'll go by one. B2 dot total count. Okay, B2, B3. Yes. Okay. So now when B1, we will make it B2 here. Now when I either call B1 or B2, doesn't matter. See, B1, okay, let's run it and see. So this is B1, I'm saying 1, 1, 1. This is B2, name, author, and price 2 rupees. Okay, third book, third and third. Okay. So see here, when you are doing put book, it is different. It says book 2 is authored by author 2 and sells at rupees 2. Okay, which is good. But the moment it becomes B1 dot total count, so we're calling function level, you see, all three values are same 3. All three are storing the latest value. Okay, all three are storing the latest value. B1 would have said 1, B2 would have said 2, B3 would have said 3. But no, it did not happen. This is what we say. What do we say? We say class method, common to all the variables, that you have. It's common, you can, so whether, it doesn't matter whether you say B3 dot total count or B1 dot total count or class name books dot B1 count, you still get the same answer. That's the beauty of class method. So we have seen example of all the 4. Okay, we got example of all the 4. So we'll stop here today. Okay, I want you to practice this. Tomorrow when we meet, we'll talk about the 4 pillars, 4 important aspect of class and object. We'll talk about inheritance, polymorphism, okay, encapsulation, and then we will end our discussion. So yeah, hoping that you'll join again tomorrow, and we will go through the 4 different features. Okay, what is inheritance? How inheritance is used? But at a basic level, this is how you will use your function methods mainly. Okay, methods and functions. You'll use global or class level variable or class level function. you'll have local, right? So that is object level. Okay, so this is the object level function, and these three are object level methods. So once you define them, you don't have to define again for other members of the class. So as long as they are members of the class, they will have access to all of this. Is it clear? Shall we stop here for today? Okay, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Okay, so please practice. Very small program I did. Okay, but you need to understand the flow of the variables data, how it flows from one function to another. Okay, and then of course tomorrow we'll take one example and we'll see all the other aspect of class and objects. Okay, thanks, Shankar. Take care, guys. Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone.